Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's great to be back on Sharing with Yemi. How are you all keeping today? I trust you're keeping well. It's the beginning of another week, and thank God we're alive, and thank God that we can participate in Sharing with Yemi this evening. So wherever you are, a good evening to you, a good morning, a good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're joining us from. I trust that your weekend was really good and that you are staying safe and that you're staying home when there's no need to go anywhere. Partying, especially. It's not the time to party yet. But we will have plenty of parties when all of this is over. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're here, say hello. I would love to see you join me today. Say hello, start sharing because I've got a most incredible young lady joining me. Yes, I love to call her a young lady because to me, she's still a young lady. She will ever be a young lady. Even when she becomes old and a grandma, she will be a young lady. This is a beautiful young woman that we've come a long way, and we'll have a chat about that. But please do join me and share with your friends. Tell everybody, tell somebody that Sharing with Yemi is back on. Today is our Motivation Monday, and we're here to inspire and motivate you. And trust me, you will be fired up by the time we're done this evening. So if you really need that oomph, this is the place to be right now. And if there's somebody who you think needs a bit of cheering up, who needs a bit of lifting, who needs to be in a better place right now, mentally, physically, spiritually, this is the time to join Sharing with Yemi. Hi, Rabban. Thank you for joining us from Uganda. It's great to have you join us today. Thank you very much. Do share as we're streaming live now. Please do share so that your friends can watch. I tell you, I can guarantee you one thing. They will thank you later after watching this episode of Sharing with Yemi because the woman who is my guest today is just a whole bag and bundle and package and like we say in Niger, packaging of empowerment and motivation and effigy and all of the bits that all of the bits that you can think about. But above all this is a young lady that I am so proud of how far she's come and how well she's done. And I tell you something, her story is one of true inspiration. And it simply tells you that if she can do it, just like I always say to people every time I do a training or I do a talk, if I can do it, you can do it. So if she can do it, and I'm sure she'll tell you more about that today once she's on with us. If she can do it, you can do it. And that's the whole essence of our Motivation Monday. Chinwe, thank you for joining us. Hi, how are you today? It's great to see you join us and Sharing with Yemi. Thank you for being here. Adeyinka Adetola, thank you. I hope your day has been great. Tessie, thank you for being here today. I hope you're having a fantastic evening. Well, it's evening here in Ireland. I don't know where you're joining us from yet, but it's great to have you here with us. Tone, thank you for being here. I'm glad that you're glad to be here. I'm glad to have you here. Hello, Edney, peace. Thank you for being here today. So wherever you are, I would say welcome one more time. It's Sharing with Yemi, and today is our Motivation Monday. And today I have with me a most amazing young woman who has done incredible things for herself and for over 1.6 million women across the globe. Now, if that's not phenomenal, I don't know what is. This young lady started a group, just something simple when it started, to just create a platform for women to be able to express themselves genuinely without fear, no holds, no barriers. And when she started this, it was called Female in Nigeria. And before you could say, no, I wouldn't say Jack Robinson actually, before you could say Fela Nicola Kokuti, it just exploded and became Female in. That's when you have women from all walks of life, from all parts of the world, become part of this phenomenal group called FIN. And you have women across the globe who would proudly tell you that they are Finsters. Well, if you've not heard of or you've not been a part of this group, perhaps because you're male or perhaps because for some reason you've not been able to connect, well, you would hear more about this and you would understand what this is about. Ladies, gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, it's my honor and pleasure to welcome, joining me on Sharing with Yemi today, the Lola Omolola. Lola, it's great to have you on.
That was the most rousing introduction I've ever heard. but I can't say it surprises me because you are the brightest and the best. So
Oh,
thank you. Thank you.
Lola, you're very kind. Thank you.
It is
Thank you
true.
very much.
I've never. It's the most rousing introduction I have literally ever heard. Thank you. I feel special, and I'm thankful.
You are special, my darling. You are special. I mean, look, do you know what? There are loads of people who are joining in today, and I'm sure a number of them will know you from Finn. But let's take this a step back, right? And talk about way back, way back. Lola, how long have we known? Have we known? Have I known you?
We haven't known. You were a woman I just admired from afar. You were legendary. It is not. We're not going to try. We're not going to try for parity here. You were a woman I loved from afar. Grew up listening to and loving, and so for our relationship is more of a. I admire the hell out of you. and you were a great mentor from afar, and the paths that you created has helped women like me see that it is all possible. So I love you, and I'm so happy that I get an opportunity to actually be on sharing with you. Thank you,
Lola. You are very kind, and I have to say, way back in Lagos, Nigeria, I mean, people might not know, but way back in Lagos, Nigeria, when we did work together. When we worked together, you were always a firebrand. I mean, everyone knew it. Lola was always a firebrand. We used to call you Miss Spitfire. I mean, Lola is the one who will not.
I didn't know about that.
You didn't know. Just the same way I didn't know people were calling me Margaret Thatcher. I only found out later. But Lola is the one who wouldn't shut up. Lola is the one who always had an opinion about something. Lola is the one who always will stand up for what she thought was right and what she believed in.
And I was one tiny little thing. Just one.
You were. But you know what? The great thing was that I actually had somebody that I was taller than.
Everybody was taller than me.
It wasn't that just crazy. But you were always a fantastic young woman that I loved. I loved the fact that you were always very supportive at the time at work. And I am super delighted. The prayer in Africa, in Nigeria specifically, there's the prayer that Kiomowako Juwalo, and I am super excited about the path you've charted for yourself and the great strides you've made years and years and years after. If somebody had told us some 25 or almost 30 years ago, when I first knew you, that you will be sitting on sharing with Yemi and I would be interviewing you as a global phenomenon who is the founder of Finn, we would have told that prophet, okay, maybe you need to go and sleep and wake up again, But this is the power of being consistent and following your heart and following your passion. And so I'm really just going to dive in because there are a number of people here who are really engaging. And as you're engaging with us, please share, especially for those who are Finsters. Fin love across the board.
Finsters, Fin love, Fin hug.
Yes. Fin hug, Fin love. Please share so that your friends can all be a part of this. Let's go back before we go to where you're at now. Let's take a step back to the beginning. All of this as a result of you just wanting to help make a difference in the lives of women. When you were back home in Nigeria, did you think of anything like this at all? Or did this all start after you left for the States?
That is an interesting question. I have to tell you, a quick answer is my entire life has led up to this moment. Every single step that I've taken has led up to this moment. I was only 11 years old when I realized that my experience as a girl was different than the expectations that I placed upon me, upon my brother, because he is a boy. So, I was much, much younger when I became aware to the reality that I am a girl, and that because of that, I have certain responsibilities that separates me from the men in my life.
Mm.
So I think that I have carried, it didn't, I didn't, the day I hit Create Group was not the day Finn started at all. Finn started since I was a child, since I was 11 years old.
It was your reality. Well, I suppose it's the reality of every young African girl.
There you go.
Mm.
You see, I grew up, as many of us grew up in an environment, in a society where whenever a girl shows any sign of self-awareness, there's always someone who comes to you from a very early age, as early as 2 or 3, to pinch you whenever you talk out of turn, to come close and pinch you to shut up. If you
Mm.
have something to say, you are talkative.
You
If
are
you
too
have,
bold.
you are too bold. Your own
That's
is too
respectful.
much. Your
Yes.
own, yes, shut up. Let the elder people talk. And so it is constant with us. And unfortunately, there are negative sides to that far outweigh the positives of teaching us to say the right thing at the right time. And that is that when you grow up constantly being told to shut up, you start to second guess yourself. You don't believe what you're thinking is right. You don't believe what you're thinking is worth listening to. You don't believe that anybody wants to hear what you have to say. And that has major consequences. So that was what I was awake to as early as when I was 11 years old. Now, fast forward to 2014. I was sitting here in Chicago with my husband, and who happens to be your very, very good friend. Uh, and yeah, and so
Dennis
I
who
was
never wants to come on social media.
right. And so I was, well, he's changing. I was sitting at home with him in 2014. I turned on the TV, and the news came on. Breaking news. The breaking news is that almost 300 girls had gotten abducted.
Yes.
You see, it is one thing to, grow up and spend all of my life wanting to communicate to women the need to be strong. If you have something to say it and not let anybody shame you into silence. But it is, and you want to do something about it and you have no idea what to do. And it's a completely different thing for something so tragic to happen in
And it hits
2014.
you like a bolt.
It hit me. Exactly. I just knew that I could not wait one more day. I couldn't wait one more day to start to think about how can I contribute? How can I find women who are like me, who also are haunted by this? Sis, the day that happened, I think I stopped sleeping. I
Mm.
was so haunted by it. Now, I'm a mother of 2 little girls, and my daughters are I'm besotted with them. So I just couldn't, all I could think about was those could have been my daughters. The Chibok
Absolutely.
girls could have been my girls. In fact, they could have been me. They could have been me. And so that was the day that I knew that I had to come up with the thoughts to do something. I waited a few more years after that, and something happened. I discovered Facebook, which, we love Facebook, right? I discovered
No.
Facebook, and I said, okay, if I create a group, I'll be able to find women who are like me.
Mm.
Because I couldn't be the only person who was so worried about this. All right. So I decided, that was why I started the group. And imagine my shock when 3 years later, literally we're at more than 1.5 million women from all over the world. So yeah, I was always this woman. I was always someone who was passionate about women. I was someone who has always had a heart for women, and I'm
Mm.
someone who still feels like I have a responsibility to put a smile on every woman's face whenever she has anything to talk about. I will create spaces to make women feel comfortable speaking up and speaking out until I die.
Wow, that is so powerful. Now this picture of you right there is one that I love to look at all the time. And
Aw.
I suppose this is the one that really says to any woman out there, when I read it, it says, sis, I believe you. It's that one that gives women the validation to genuinely open their hearts and feel like a part of something without a sense of judgment. Now, this is one thing that people fear, being judged. It's the one reason why people will never open up, even to other women, being judged. But there's something special about what you've created, this group you've created, where people openly speak of the situations without fear at all. Now, how this evolved, I'm sure it's not something that was written in the books, but it just evolved. What was the one thing, what would you say was the one thing that gave the women that feeling of freedom to be able to express themselves so freely?
There are several different things that, key things that led to that. The number one thing is that women are inherently absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
You see,
Can you
these,
hear the sisters? Every single one of you listening, you are
yes,
amazing.
finsters are extraordinary women. That is number one. And therefore, they recognize, these women understand that, there is a price to pay for women in our society when we speak up and when we share our feelings and when we share our dreams and aspirations. They understand it. They've
Mhm.
been on this journey with me their entire lives, not only when they found Finn. So that is the first thing. The women are extraordinary by themselves. They don't need me in order for them to be absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
Number two, it is time. It is time. We have been silent and silenced for way too long. And we've accepted that us shutting up, that nobody wanting to hear us. We after a while we accepted that this is normal, this is regular. When someone is hurting us, we're supposed to be quiet. When
Mm.
people are breaking us, we're supposed to not say anything because of this fear. We've been told, and we have been very, very quickly and swiftly punished every time we open our mouths.
Mm.
But something is going on. Something is happening right now where women are starting to see that we are fire. We are extraordinary.
Mm.
That this world does not change if we don't change something. And I think that that is what it comes down to, is that finsters are not, finsters are coming out every day understanding, with full understanding of what it means to actually tell our stories.
Mm.
We know it's not going to be a joke. People are going to call us on it. We know people are going to be angry with us because they're not used to us coming up and telling our stories. We know people are going to be ashamed that if they let us speak, we will talk about them and we will report them. They know that. We know this, but we are choosing to do it anyway. And I
Mm.
think one of the reasons why is because we're extraordinary. Number two is that we are ready because it is time. And I think number three is that it is irrefutable. What I have committed and dedicated my life to is
Mm.
making sure that I do the hard work of creating the right atmosphere and the right conditions for any woman who has a story to tell to know that I will fight for her right to tell it. You see, these three things together, it, as you've all seen, is magical.
Mm.
Is women are great. The second one is that the time is right. We are ready to speak up. We're ready to fight back. And the third one is that thin is an atmosphere, the right one, where you know that if you share your story, no one is going to break you into pieces and insult you like the
Mm.
rest of the internet. That's I think those are the three key things of maybe 200 other things, but I think those are pretty vital.
That in itself is powerful. Just knowing that no one is going to judge you, no one is going to come against you. And this is a platform that you don't find so many of us around in anywhere in the world. We have numbers joining us right now, and I want to say welcome to you all wherever you are in the world. Welcome, thank you for joining us. This is Sharing with Yemi, and my guest today is the phenomenal Lola, the Lola Omolola. Isn't that just great when we say the Lola Omolola?
I find it absolutely laughable because because you know me, Sister Yemi, you know that my own is not that serious.
I know, but Lola, look, whether you like it or not, this is the mantle that has been placed in you by
Mm.
virtue of this grace community, this nation, because it literally is a nation that you've created. So whether you like it or not, you are the Lola or Molola. We could have some imposters out there. You never.
Well, I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind because you have now given me permission to just
Oh,
to put that jacket on and zip it up. So I'm going
my
to,
darling,
and
that
you
power is
know,
being bestowed on you from time immemorial before you were even born. So you're just
but
manifesting it.
though, me sitting here every day and watching women like you break all and shatter all kinds of glass ceilings. It has, because I've watched you, because I've watched extraordinary women like you. I no longer have any reason to say, no, don't call me the Lola Omolola. I own it. You have given me
Absolutely.
permission to own it.
There
I
you
am,
go, my darling.
women, we need to do that more. When people say to us, even culturally for us, we struggle. And this took me a really long time. I have to tell you, I'm still struggling with it. Philosophy is it, psychologists call it imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
When
imposter syndrome.
when we work hard to achieve things, and we stay up all night, we put all of our hearts and we throw ourselves into our work, and then positive things happen as a result of the effort that we've made. When people tell us, hey, you've done something great, we fight it. Our first instinct is to say, no, it's not a big deal, I
It's
just
no big
always do
deal.
that. We don't see our own success, and that is wrong. And just now, because you called me the Lola Omolola, I'm going to step back and I'm going to accept it. And I'm going to wrap my hands around my body. And I'm going to motivate any woman who's watching, sharing with Yemi right now, that every little thing that you do, you need to acknowledge, you need to celebrate. You need to acknowledge, you
And
need to
own
celebrate.
it.
Celebrate yourself, whether it is that you are own it, whether if what you did to you, it may not seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal. Even if it's something that seems as simple as keeping your children alive, there are
Absolutely.
people who don't even do that much. Whether even if it's something as easy as helping your children get to where they need to go, helping your family to be cohesive, whether it is about you getting that exam done and doing great, everything we do every day, it is worth celebrating, and we usually don't remember that. So I own it, sis. The Lola Malala. Thank you. I
I'm
own
super
it.
proud of you, my darling. Super
Thank
proud
you.
of you. And you see, you are so bang on the money. Let me tell you something. Um, I used to be in those shoes. I mean, it took, my husband is one who is always he's very supportive of women and all things women, right?
Yes.
I call him a feminist. I think I totally agree that all men should be feminists.
Yes.
He's the one person who had always said to me, oh, this is so great. And we're like, nah, it's no big deal. No, 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 it is. But you have to see that it is a big deal. And it took me a while, just exactly like you're saying, for me to recognize that some of the things are actually a big deal. And the reason being that it takes effort, it takes consistency.
Yes.
This is one of my values in life, being consistent. It takes consistency to get to that level of success where you can sit back and say, and even think and say, wow, did I actually do this?
You see?
That's when sometimes you get a wow moment. So it's so well deserving for every single woman who's made an effort. And I love the way you said, even if it's just keeping your children alive, even if it's as little as being able to make a meal for your family, that is something. Why? Because some people can't do it, or some people can and won't do it, but you've done it.
Yes.
And that's an achievement.
I have to interject here. A woman said in the comments that it is part of humility. Sis, that is the fact. I need to refute that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will respectfully refute that. You see, I understand that humility is us embracing, what we do and spreading what we do to others and saying, hey, it's not just me. It's not just me. Here is the thing. I think that I understand that humility is a value of importance, but I think that what is more dangerous is for us to not be able to acknowledge what we do as a positive. Because if we do not acknowledge what we're doing, we're not able to understand the responsibility that is placed upon us as the person who is doing it. So for instance, if you do not accept that you are in a leadership position and you're a leader, you will not behave in a way that you need to behave as a leader. You now have responsibilities that are attached to that role that you have. And in order for you to be able to assume that role and acknowledge that responsibility, you're going to need to acknowledge and to accept that role as a leader. You see what I'm saying? So no, you can be humble, be kind, be compassionate, and be assertive, and still be able to acknowledge that, hey, this is a role that I've stepped into. So to say that it is not humble to acknowledge what you have done right, that is a problem. Where is inspiration going to come from for you to do more? So you need to acknowledge what you are right now. You need to see your success right now. You need to embrace yourself and be thankful for what you have done right now so that you can feel the strength to continue doing more. And so that through your own story, you can help to elevate others. So I just don't think the word humility is supposed to be used as a word to beat us down. I think it should be used as a word to elevate us and remind us of why serving others is important. Not, we should be able to acknowledge ourselves. And you know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Lola. Absolutely powerful. And I'm sure that a number of people who are here joining in, and the person who made that statement as well, would have recognized that, look, it's a way, it's one of those words that had been used in times past to hold us down,
Yep.
to make us feel that we're going too quick for our own good.
Yes.
You're too smart for your own good, And it's not just, the one thing I realize is it's not just an African woman thing. It's a global thing for women. I mean, here in Ireland, most of my girlfriends, when I say to them, oh, you're doing well, or you look, something as simple as, you look so beautiful, they just brush it off like, oh, no, I don't.
No. This cheap dress. This is just
this
two
in pennies. I bought it in Primark. And that really gets me. And I tell them, I don't want to know where you got it from. The fact is, you are beautiful.
You look great.
Embrace it and accept it. And I suppose this is one of the things that Finn is doing for women. We need to get past that stage where we feel less a person and begin to feel like that woman who is deserving of recognition. Who is deserving of acknowledgement from other women. From other women, never mind the man, but from other women,
And one extraordinary woman just said in the comments right now that acknowledging, her name is Shakirat Balogun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sister Shakirat. She said, acknowledging yourself is crucial to elevating our being. Absolutely. Just seeing yourself as being worthy is so powerful. I know that, humility is essentially a modest or low view of your own importance. But that is a problem. Why are we having a low view of what we are doing? That is disturbing. Why? We should question ideals that don't make sense. Or maybe they used to. They no longer make sense. They no longer serve us.
Absolutely. And it won't just be for our own sakes, for our children's sakes, for our daughters' sakes, for the future of our children.
And our sons.
And our sons, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Wherever you're joining us from, it's great to have you all here. Fantastic comments from everyone. Let me take a few comments here before we move on to perhaps even talking a bit more about some of the great things that you've been acknowledged and recognized for as a result of this phenomenal thing you've started. Okay, so this person, I'm actually going to take this because I believe this person is a finster. So let's give the finsters a few minutes here. Let's acknowledge the finsters. Hey, finsters. So,
hey, sisters, I love you.
Ngozi Akibe, I believe, says, please, I no longer see updates from Finn. I don't know if I'm still a member. Would that be something you quickly answer?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be happy to answer that. Number one, you have to try to search for the group. Some of the time when people don't see a notification, they automatically assume that they are no longer in the community. So I think you should do that. If in fact you're not on the group, that would be for several different reasons. If your account has ever been hacked or there has been any kind of security breach, we will remove your account to provide security and comfort for the women on the community. That's very important. Number two, another option that would be that maybe you got taken off the group because and I hope that might not be the truth or that didn't happen, might be because you ran foul of a vital community policy. And if that's the case, you have the option of returning. All you have to do is go to the Finn public page. You can very simply find it. Just type female into the search box on Facebook. And if that's the case, just send a message and we'll be able to help to resolve it ASAP.
Fantastic. Thank you for answering that. We'll take a few quick comments. This is from Antonia Aisha Fagbemi. She says, we need to learn to accept compliments. Something women find really challenging sometimes. Maybe we feel inadequate, but really and truly, when another woman says to you, you are beautiful, you are adequate.
Actually, you know what I've learned, Sister Yemi Adenuga? You know what I've learned?
Tell
I
me.
realized that women don't feel inadequate just by ourselves.
Hmm.
It is very easy for us to say, oh well, if we feel a sense of we're not enough, is the reason why we're rejecting the compliment. But that isn't the reason why. We are very deeply trained to not accept compliments. So
Mm.
when people compliment us and say, hey, you look beautiful, when we say thank you, somebody else, a larger group of people are going to come back and say, she's too proud immediately.
Yeah.
So we are punished over the head for accepting a compliment that was given to us. So it is not, we don't, our insecurity, we just didn't become insecure.
Hmm.
Insecurity
And
was,
ingrained from
it
being
was,
raised.
right. Men, some of us were trained with pain to be insecure. So essentially, we're afraid that, oh, people are going to say that she thinks she's all that. If
Hmm.
she says, oh, yeah, I feel pretty today, I'm cute, whatever. Or say, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I feel cute. I like the shirt too. If we do that, that is not being humble. That is not being respectful. That is not being, come on. What do
I know.
people want? You
I
want
know.
us to be one thing, you want us to be the other at the same time. That's a problem. And this is why we can never define who we are based on the feelings and emotions of the people around us. We have to find a way to break from that so that we can talk to ourselves about who we want to be. And I think that, it just, every time I hear that, it just like makes my head explode. Like, no, 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 no. We
And
want
I'm
to
glad. Go on, Lola. Finish up. Go on. Go
no,
on.
no. Okay.
I am glad you talked about defining ourselves, because that's one challenge that a number of people have, where when they talk about lacking self-confidence, they've not been able to define themselves in the first place. How
Mhm.
much more having that confidence, because they don't
Yes.
know who they are. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that will bring me to quickly just mention that MIB's first live conference, our first live conference, will be holding on the 2nd of March. And I'm delighted to let you know that the Lola Omolola will be one of our speakers at that conference. It's going to be limited in numbers that we can take. So I would say once the call is out, make sure that you book your space. I've got great news for you in that regard. It is absolutely free. That conference is going to be free to everyone attending. It's online, but you have to book your place. You have to register. And so, are you inspired yet or not? If you want to be more inspired, well, that day is going to be a phenomenal day, because the Lola Omolola is going to be there, firing you up and powering you up. I have to ask you something, Lola, about Finn. I'll bring you back to Finn, because really and truly, that is a community that has changed millions. We say right now the community is about 1.6 million strong, with women from different parts of the world. Yes, so
More than 100 countries.
from more than 100 countries. There you go. There is something incredibly fantastic about the group, which is the fact that even though it is a safe space for women to come and speak freely about themselves and tell their stories. I love storytelling. I'm a storyteller. Everything I do is about trying to express something through the experience that people have had in storytelling. And that's the power of Thing as well. And all those women feel safe enough to come and talk about the experience in this space that makes them feel safe. And yet, they're not anonymous. They cannot
Mhm.
come on that space and be anonymous. They have to be their real selves. And this seems to, in a way, contradict what all the experts have told us, that in order to be able to express freely, you can hide behind the cloak of anonymity, and then you feel safe. So this is fantastic about Finn. How did that come about? How did that grow to such a level?
I'm going to start by telling you one thing. Uh, experts can hold perspectives based on the sample sizes that they have.
Hmm.
But I can tell you that I don't need to be an expert
Hmm.
to understand where I came from and what our struggles are.
Hmm.
I am there every day in the trenches with real people,
Hmm.
not statistics, with the real people. I'm interacting with the real women. Now, one thing I have to say is this. When we just got started, I did communicate that from a very young age, as early as age 3, whenever a girl says something, she starts to speak, she shows any sign of awareness. There's usually someone in your life, maybe an aunt or a cousin, usually a woman, who will put 2 of her fingers together like this, put it on your side and twist. You are raised with pain to shut up, which means that as you get older, people start to, you as a person, you start to second guess yourself. You start to second guess what you're thinking. You start to say something must be wrong with me. This is one of the major reasons why we don't tell our stories, is that we don't believe anybody wants to see us. Anybody wants to hear us. Anybody thinks that what we say is important or it matters. And it does. It does. So here's what I'm doing with Finn. If you have a story to tell, you need to do the work of telling it in your own name, on your own terms. Women hide too much. We hide because we're afraid. We hide because people punish us for speaking up. Even if we're kidding, even when we're joking, people start to say, oh, she was our own. She does too much. Even when we're doing things that are positive, when we're doing things that are compassionate, when we're helping to elevate others, it's this constant barrage of being smacked around from all sides. So basically, the reason why we decided no anonymity is this. If I'm sitting there saying that women need to start stepping into our own power, if I'm sitting here saying women need to start, embracing our own selves as powerful stewards of the future, how then can I start selling you need to hide to do it? That makes no sense.
Absolutely.
It makes absolutely no sense. If you cannot even step on the podium, have a microphone given to you, and you collect that microphone and speak, how are you ready to be a leader? You're not ready to lead unless you're ready to speak up. You have work to do. This is what Finn is doing. Finn is not only providing us a platform to share our stories. For every woman who becomes courageous enough to tell her story on Finn, that woman is ready to run a country. She is ready to lead the world. We are creating leaders. We're not creating people who just won't have a story to tell. The courage that you have to garner to tell your story, an ultra personal story, to almost 1.7 million women. If that is not magical, I don't know what is. So that is why we share anonymously on my community. You have to come out. You have to say, this is me. You guys are not going to like my story, but you're going to need to deal with it because that's who I am. That is my story. That is me. That is what has got me to the woman that I am today. So it is an acknowledgement and an embrace of your own self. And it's also a letter to everybody that, hey, you don't have to like me. You just have to know who I am and live with it.
That is powerful. And I love that end bit where it says, you don't have to like me. This is one thing I say all the time. Do you know what? You don't have to like me, but if you allow yourself to get to know me, well, we're going to benefit from ourselves.
You might be surprised. Exactly.
If you don't get to know me, look, you have to question who loses at the end of the day. I allow myself to connect with people because you never know who's going to be that link that brings you to the next level in whatever it is that you're doing. We have this. I'm going to take a comment from Irene Marks here. Irene says, I love you too. You have dignified women, elderly now, but love what you're doing. God bless you. Oh, that is so sweet. That is so great. God bless you, Irene. Thank you for that beautiful message. With great messages flying in and comments flying in as well. And
I told you Finstars are extraordinary women.
I know, right? They're just flying in here. You know, the power of Finn.
The women are awesome. There's another thing, Sister Yemi, that I haven't brought up. Another thing about the anonymity is that when we say we're telling the story, our stories anonymously, how do we know that person, that really happened to that person? It also erases and releases you of accountability. So if you
it gives authenticity.
Exactly. It gives authenticity, it gives credibility. It also provides you an opportunity to really, really take the mask off.
Mm,
Not a lot of things can do that than for you to step out and say, this is me.
mm,
It might not be pretty, but this is me.
mm.
And I think it's so necessary, and it's one of the most powerful things about our community, because now younger people can read stories about things that happen to older sisters and know that nothing is wrong with them, that this is regular, that women can have orgasms, and that women can like to have sex, and that women may not be comfortable in domestic violence. You don't have to endure it. And so many other things that we didn't really realize were a thing. But now, because so many of our sisters are being courageous enough to say, hey, this is me, and this is me, as clearly and as real as you're going to get, it's changing that. And it's not just changing the narrative, it's changing the course of our lives.
Absolutely.
That's something that I just think it's important.
Thank you for sharing that, Lola. God bless you. Great comments coming in here. So many, it's just unbelievable. Here, people are saying this is so inspiring. They love the fact that they can share the stories and that they can feel they feel validated, being able to share their own personal, genuine stories. And this is the power of storytelling. Every single woman should be a storyteller. I mean, even if you're not telling your story to the entire world, you're telling your story even to your children, being able to inspire them by what you've experienced and saying, look, what I've experienced is what has made me a better person, is what has gotten me here. It's exactly like you said when I asked you that very first question, when you said, everything about my life has prepared me for this. Everything molded me for this moment. And it's nothing, whatever it might have been, positive, negative. We've all had instances in our lives when we've gone through things that we perhaps didn't want to talk about, but they've all brought us here. And I hope that every single woman who is listening, every person, not just women, but more so women, because women have for years and years and centuries been held down and shackled by culture and tradition. And that belief that a woman's place is in the kitchen, and that belief that a woman has to be quiet when the others are speaking. And
may I add one more?
Please go on, my darling.
Tradition and culture, as well as self-limiting thoughts.
Absolutely.
We participate in our own shattering and our own brokenness. We unknowingly, we don't do it on purpose. We unknowingly participate. So, so for instance, every time you think about, something positive, you say, oh, I want to do this. I can't do it though, Jerry. It's too hard. Or you say, oh, I don't, well, that means I will have to, every time that we,
and
every
when
time that we say something,
that thing where you see someone who's done it and they're trying to inspire you, say, but you are a different kind of person. You have, you are such a powerful woman. Who says you are not powerful as well?
Exactly. You are, and you don't know how powerful you are until you have to be powerful.
Absolutely.
People told me many times, they're like, I cannot do that thing. What you're doing there. So I said, you don't know. You will be surprised what you're capable of. And you don't really realize what you're capable of until you have to do it. And you'll be like, wow, I have been built. I have been divinely created to be able to handle this. You can do it. Anything. You can do anything.
Fantastic. Oji and Azi, I see your comments. You're both awesome. I love you both. Thank you, Oji.
Hey,
Oji is a sister from forever. So it's great to see you too.
She's a mentor from forever.
You are phenomenal too, Oji. We love you. We love you. Great comments flying in from left, right, and center. Lola, let's talk about one of the moments. We're going to talk about two special moments. This is one of them. I'm going to share this really quickly. This is that moment when I think it was Melinda Gates just recognized and acknowledged you. And I don't know if it was an award or some form of recognition.
Yes.
Is one of the women who really make a difference in the world. Now, that was powerful. What was that like for you?
You see, I have to be honest because, you will see right through me if I was not. So I might as well be. Finstars will see right through me as well. Well, I think it's absolutely incredible to get acknowledged for what you do
Mm.
and to get acknowledged for who you are. But I have to be very honest. At that time when that happened, I struggled with awards. I felt embarrassed by it. I felt unsure of myself.
Why?
I
Why?
felt
Tell us why. Why?
because because I have to be honest, because for a really long time, until very recently, I was on a journey myself. I was struggling with acknowledging myself as having done something of significance. The reason I actually came told you this right now, instead of just saying, oh, I loved it and I was great,
Yeah.
is because there are lots of women who are watching us today and still struggle with even accepting a compliment when somebody say you look pretty. I
I know
want you to know
so
you're
many
not
of
alone. You're not alone at all.
them.
I was getting the highest praise from some of the most recognizable people on earth. And I was feeling as if somebody might find out that I'm a fraud soon. And that's one. Number two, number two, I was thinking that there are so many people do. This is how far this is going in my brain, oh sis.
Mm.
I was thinking that there's so many people doing extraordinary things. Why are you putting me next to the president of Eritrea, like the president of Eritrea and the woman who won the Nobel Prize
Peace
for
prize.
peace in the entire. I was fighting it. I was questioning it. I was I was player hating and back talking and self talking myself
Mm.
to death when that happened. The whole world was applauding me, and I
Well,
was
I
like,
have to say,
"Oh, let it stop."
my applaud would perhaps have been the loudest at the time because here I
I
was
was,
jumping for joy and going, "That's our
I
Lola!"
was saying, let it stop, make it stop. Oh Lord, make it stop. But I have to tell you, I have come a long way. I'm happy to tell you that I've come a long way since then. It's still a journey. It will be a continuous journey, which is a signal to you how deeply our culture and our society and we should change ourselves.
Mm.
And so I have come to a place where I can now value that. Yeah, look, I used to be like, oh, can you come? Oh, are you sure? Now I acknowledge what I bring to the table. Now I acknowledge that because of my resilience, because of my consistency, to steal your word, because of my love and my compassion for women, because of me getting up every single day at early in the morning at 4 a.m. when I just went to bed at 2 a.m., that this is the reason why we were able to bring a coalition of extraordinary women together and build the strongest, most influential community on the entire Facebook. I now see that it is because I got up that I gave other people permission to get up. And I
Absolutely.
acknowledge it and I own it. But when that happened, I was still struggling. But now, in retrospect, I see it, I acknowledge it, and I celebrate it. I don't only celebrate myself, I celebrate the women who joined me to make it happen. Because without all these finsters, this women responding, none of this would have happened. Without the women who are getting up with me every day on my team of moderators and admins, without them, none of this has happened. So when women come together, we can make magic happen. The world would have to pay attention. So whether it is Melinda Gates, whether it is Mark, I mean, this is because this can happen. When women get up,
Whether it's Mark,
nobody can stop us.
that moment when you met Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark, it was that moment was a and still remains a dream. For many, many different reasons. I haven't really publicly talked about it because if people have noticed, I'm such a busy lady and I spend so much of my time with Finsters that I don't really make time to do interviews. But that moment was an extraordinary one. On that day, what you see on the day that I was in that photo, I only had like $8 to my name.
No
$8. And
way.
there I was, yes. And there I was sitting with one of the wealthiest man ever. Not just like of the year, like ever. So it was that picture is a contrast, is a picture of contrast. But as much as it's a picture of deep contrast, it is also a picture of hope. So every time I look at it, I just feel joy in my soul. It is a reminder of what can happen when a regular girl from Lagos Island, what can happen when a regular girl from Lagos Island says, I want to do something to serve other people. Women.
Magic happens.
Yes,
Magic
anything
happens.
can happen. And the most powerful part is that the things that can happen are things that you don't even have to have a reference of it ever happening to anybody you know in order for it to be able to happen to you. That is magic. That day I learned so many different lessons from a man who is very, very similar to me, in drive. In we're so different and we're so similar at the same time. And I'm so excited to see that the man who has allowed Facebook to happen, because without Facebook, Finn would not have existed. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm a regular woman from modest means. Where am I going to find the resources to be able to create a platform that can daily take the traffic of 1 million women? Did you know that each day on Finn, 1 million women interact on the group? 1 million each day on Finn. So the thought of me being able to achieve that would have been very linear, if possible. But because of Mark making the choice to get up and do something, I also had the opportunity to have a platform that is maybe able to change the lives of so many people. So that day was a really important day for me because we saw that we had a lot of things in common. And every time we've interacted after that, it is just pure enjoyment, pure learning, and just pure, just learning that I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who is who is obsessed with creating change. And it felt good. It felt good.
Fantastic. And the one thing that just hit me when you mentioned the fact that you were sitting there with one of the most influential men in the world, Mark Zuckerberg, and you had just $8 to your name. The one thing that hit me was there's so many things that we need to get up and do that have absolutely nothing to do with money. It's all in here and here. And if you're listening and you're hearing this, the excuses about money sometimes is what it is, an excuse. They say, I come from the part of the world where they say that when you have money, you really sometimes want to buy what's that word now? You want to buy integrity with money. You want to buy dignity with money. But what if you already handed honor and integrity, and you're handed honor and dignity? You already handed that and integrity without having a penny, which is what is happening to a number of people, which is what happened to me when I started being anybody, and which is what happened to you, Lola, with you sitting right there beside Mark Zuckerberg. So there are no excuses. It's only in here. The only person who can stop you from doing anything to make a difference in the lives of even your neighbor, start from your neighbor, your children, is you. That's the bottom line. Excuses will get you nothing. You want to say something there, Lola?
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Um, I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset. When you were speaking, I was just thinking about all the women who go around not realizing the power that they have
That they carry.
them. I was one of them. I was one of you. And there are times when I still struggle till today. But I have to tell you, sisters, we if I can do so many of these things, you will be surprised at what you are capable of. You will be surprised what you're capable of. But one thing I just want you to know is that regardless of what the world has told you about yourself and what you're capable of, regardless of what you are telling yourself about what you are capable of, you need to know that I see you differently. And because of my own journey, I see you differently because I know that everything I thought about myself, I was lucky in a lot of ways. I come from a very liberal family. I was loved. I grew up. We didn't have money growing up, but I knew that I was loved. My father treated me in a way that is just extraordinary. My mom, my aunties, I had a big giant family. I grew up in so much love. So I know what love looks like. But at the same time, I'm still surrounded by a culture and an environment that does not really value what I can bring to the table. So I understand your experience. I understand what you're feeling. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you don't trust in your own ability. Don't trust in what you're telling yourself. Ask people who you feel are doing things in their own lives that you didn't think was possible. Go ask them. On Finn, for instance, this is a community where we talk about our journeys, we talk about our personal lives, but even reading the stories so many different times, I can see women add self-limiting thoughts to the posts, like, oh, people apologize for posting. Sometimes women will say, oh, I'm sorry for the long post. Don't apologize.
It is a
You
post.
are
That's
telling,
it.
yeah, you are fire. You are telling us a story about your life. Do you know how difficult it is to be courageous and come up with a story about yourself?
Mm.
You are honoring us with your experience. We should be thanking you. You shouldn't be apologizing to us. And that is what I'm saying. I am dedicating my life to making sure that this changes, that my sisters know that they are worthy. You are worth everything. You can do everything. And I started a community, a fresh community that is Finn, is a Finn community that I started. And I would love for an opportunity to talk about it as I go on. It's called Finn Champions.
Yes, we're going to get to that, so we might just as well.
So Finn Champions is, you see, there are so many lessons that I've learned from Finn. Largely that women are large-hearted and magical human beings. I already kind of knew that, but Finn has really cemented it for me. I've always had a heart for women, so that's not even new. So that's not even new. But what Finn Champions is not like Finn. What Finn Champion is, you see, when on Finn you have learned, you have found your voice. You found your voice. You know who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
You have seen that you're not alone. The job Finn Champion does is to elevate you to where you need to be. So Finn is a self-awareness platform. Finn Champions is a self-improvement and elevation platform. So it is a new thing I started, and I haven't. We're still test running, so we haven't really shared it with a lot of women. So I'm so happy to be breaking and talking about it today. And I hope that any woman who wants to be a part of Finn Champions, you're gonna have to go to the www.femalein.org. You have to sign up there because it is not a free community. It is femalein.org. We have to femalein.org.
Yeah.
.org. We have to start investing in our own self-improvement. We have to. Everything I do today, who I am right now is because of every step somebody else has taken to improve me, to improve the way I see myself. Everybody, other people have helped me to get here, to lift me up. Women like you, Yemi Adenuga, watching so many of the extraordinary women, OG Onazi, watching, Dennis, watching Kenny, D1, like these extraordinary individuals, Jumobi, Tosin, Dopasi. I was surrounded by so much power. I had no choice but to make something out of my life because I know what it can look like. And so I want to be able to do that and give that gift that I got to other women. And that's why Finn Champions now exists as well. So I hope,
Thanks for sharing that. And the incredible thing, what that said, one thing that's really pushing out there is that women need to be, and people generally need to begin to learn to invest in themselves by paying for what is required, whatever it is that you need to make yourself better. I've seen so many people when they see calls for maybe a training or something, they go, oh no, I can't pay for that, can't afford that. But they can afford to pay for the fluffy stuff. And I call them fluffy stuff. But that thing that is for you as a person, you're not willing to quickly let go of the little bit of cash that you need to pay for it. You need to have a change of mindset, really and truly. When perhaps this COVID will help reset everybody's brain.
Yes.
Let's have a reset of mind, a change of mind to invest. We are important. We are priority. You are priority. And so you must put yourself first. When you're investing in everything else, you come first. Because that's where the entire building for everything comes. We're literally...
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for saying that. I think that unfortunately, it's not going to be as easy as us communicating it. We have to build a new culture. The same way Finn has done the work of building a brand new culture where women now understand that judging other women breaks them. It breaks them. It breaks them. It's not just, oh, it's just talk now. It's not a big deal. Just ignore. It's not. It is a big deal.
It
Our
is.
words matter. The way we interact with people can make or mar their future. The way we interact with our children, if we don't elevate our children and we use our words to break them, we can ruin their chance at being able to make the kind of life for themselves that we want them to make. So words matter 100% all the time. So what I'm trying to, when it comes to self-improvement, it has never been something that we really appreciated in our society, in our community. Sis, you understand this. You understand this. We for set we'll be like, which conference, which can we will just dismiss it. Or we
Absolutely.
just dismiss it. We don't we even when like but let it be let somebody die. Let it be a funeral. The speed
Everyone.
with which we will buy
Yes.
that ashwabi,
Yes.
we will even be asking for other colors of the ashwabi because we just
Absolutely.
really, really like it.
When they say it's finished, no more Ashwebi. No, and you must get me my own.
No, ashwabi can never. Like the heart and the drive with which we chase after the stuff that will not make an extraordinary difference in our lives is just unbelievable. I have to be honest. I don't really I can go for a whole year, maybe even I've done even two, without buying myself a stitch of clothing. I do not go to places that I have no business going to. I do not spend that much time applying my brain and my life and my heart to things that are not going to advance my life and advance the lives of my family and help me advance the lives of other people. I just don't. I preserve my energy. So basically, self improvement is something that I value above everything. But sis, you and I, people like you and I, we have to do the work. We have to create a new culture, and it's going to take time before our sisters understand the value of improving their own lives. And we have to do that work. It's going to be a long work, but we have
Well,
to
I
do it.
tell you something as we begin to wrap up because we're literally out of time. And
No.
I'm telling you, sharing with Yemi is an hour, and we're about a minute, almost 2 minutes over our time. But perhaps we need to do this again because there's still so many questions hanging here. There's still the need to talk about the women in the group who experience abuse, who share those experiences, the women who freely share their sex life, and how they've felt some sense of freedom to be able to even talk about it. And just knowing that cultural boundaries have sometimes to to be checked, those are still things. So perhaps we will have the Lola Omolola back sharing and inspiring us again on sharing with Yemi. But for today, we have to call it a day. See, this is the great thing about something that is really sweet. When it's sweet, you have a taste of it. If you want more, then you'll have to come back. But it's been one fantastic hour of inspiration and motivation. And I'll tell you another thing, another great chance to see and listen to Lola again is being a part of the MIB conference coming up on the 2nd of May, the online conference. The Lola Omolola is one of our great speakers. And some people have asked on as we're going on the show, how do you register? Watch the space. Just watch the space. We'll have the promo come out, and then you'll be able to register. This conference is free, right? But after this one, like we're talking about being able to invest in yourself, after this one, you may have to pay for it. So take the opportunity. Lola, I want to say a big thank you.
The
It's
pleasure
been
is all mine.
such an honor having you and sharing with Yemi. And I have to say to you, I've said this to you a million times, but I have to say this in front of everyone who's watching. I am super proud of you. You have taken that zeal, that power, that passion, and you've made it something that the entire world recognizes, where people can literally say the name Lola Omolola. Even when they say Lola, the first thing they think about is it is the Lola, because that has become a compound name. So well done. You've made women across the globe proud and comfortable to be able to share their stories. And you are indeed a fin champion yourself. You are the champion of champions. And as you give other women the validation to be able to speak of themselves and their lives and their stories, those women in turn today, I literally feel like I'm hearing the voices of women who are here today saying, we give you that back, Lola. Keep inspiring, keep empowering, keep being the great leader that you are, because you are indeed a leader yourself. Thank you for being a part of the show today.
Thank you for
Just
having
in
me.
one sentence, one last word for every finster who is here and every woman or every man who is here listening. One word of inspiration, one last word in one sentence.
This is a difficult time in the lives of so many of us. With the COVID-19 happening right now, we are experiencing a time that has never existed in our entire generation, even for the generation of our parents. This has never happened. So I know this is a difficult time for many of you. I just want you to know that we've got this. We've got this. We're going to survive this. This is going to pass. And when it has passed, or even before it passes, one of the places you can count on, that you can come to, is with me, to me. Finn, I'm at Finn all the time. You can come to Finn and share your feelings, share your thoughts, share your experience. And if you want more, you want much more, you want self improvement to the next level, Fin Champions, go to femalelink.org, or just send me a message and say, what is that Fin Champions you are talking about, sis? Why don't I know about it? I will give you all the information you need. It is not free. It costs very, very little, $10 a month. So, you're going to need um, to invest in your own
Invest.
future, invest in your own future and in your own happiness. But I'll be here, and I will be a mentor that you want me to be. So thank you, sister. That's all I just want to say, and I wish everybody well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lola. God bless you. Keep inspiring. And well, guys, hopefully, what people are asking, is she coming back? Hopefully, we'll have you back soon. But you all do know that Lola is an incredibly busy woman herself. And yes, we'll have to remember that. But in any case, Lola, God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Love you
I
plenty.
love you.
Take care. Thank you, darling. Thank you guys for being a part of the show today. It's been such an inspiring sharing with you. I mean, like we're way over time and it feels like it shouldn't end. And more people keep sending in comments. But this is the kind of thing that we really are hoping that will make a difference for you and help you change your life and the way you live. Really and truly, when we talk about who we are as people, it all starts from here and here. And if we do not recognize who we are, then how do we expect other people to recognize us? Every single person carries a gift, a passion, something that makes them unique. And it's that thing that's inbuilt. You cannot buy it with money. So I suppose the starting point is identifying that thing that makes you different. People will have told you, but you probably never paid any attention. That's what makes you special. And that is what will bring you to as far as the end of the earth. You can inspire, you can motivate, you can impact, starting from the corners of your own home. Thank you for being a part of the show today. And a big thank you once again to our guest, the Lola Omolola of Finn. If you want to join Finn, please check them out on Facebook. The Finn, female in. God bless you. Keep inspiring yourself. Stay safe. Stay home. See you tomorrow. Bye.